You're listening to the Trim Radio Network. We cut the bull and serve the truth.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida where the sun shines all day. It just caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, fishing in Florida. Oh yeah, I'm fishing in
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Good morning, good morning. It is the Fishing in Florida Show, and I am slowly waking up. No coffee. I'm going to do it without coffee this morning. I've done pretty good after having that emergency heart surgery almost 2 years ago now. Well, close to over 2 years. Wow, that went quick. Really has changed my Sunday mornings because the only way I could get up on Sunday mornings is to have a shot of coffee, and the shot would be about the size of a bucket. Well, no coffee this morning. Overcoming a cold. I caught a cold earlier in the week, and one of my daughters is worried to death that he's probably going to die, and have everybody so afraid of getting a cold. And I said, give me 3 or 4 days, and I'll be done with it. And today is day 5, so I'm probably about 98% done with it at this point. As soon as I felt that little tickle, I started doing my protocol, and the next thing you know, it's by the wayside. So this morning I have Carolyn. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, you got to talk to Carolyn at Atlas Trax. Good morning, Carolyn.
Thanks, Riscala. Happy Sunday.
Yep, it's a beautiful day out there. I don't know not so much for the boaters maybe, but for the rest of us land lovers, it's going to be a pretty day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was checking the weather like I always do in my cameras every Sunday morning, and it looks like the wind's going to be picking up to about 20 knots today. I can see the palm trees starting to blow a little bit. Seas look like they're about 2 feet now, but they're probably going to be 2 to 3 to 4 feet by the end of the day. Yesterday they were flat calm. I had the pleasure of going out to a beach for a very amazing event that I have to tell our listeners about.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Human Baton, and it's to honor firefighters, military, police department, and patriots. And they did an event which was 4 teams. They jumped out of an airplane. Then they proceeded to jump in supercars, which for our listeners are high-end, like race cars, like Porsches and Lamborghinis. They did a lap around Fort Lauderdale. Then they got out and got in these little inflatable speedboats, 2-person speedboats that go up to 80 miles an hour, and then sprinted back to the beach. It was a pretty amazing event.
Wow. Never heard of anything like that. That's
first
amazing.
Time. Yep, it's the first time they do it. And it was founded by a British gentleman. And then the next event is going to be, I believe, in Dubai, where they have endurance horse races and then rally cars. So they're going to try and make this event a little bit larger and more worldwide, but I'm proud to say that my friend took second place in this event.
Wow. Congratulations to your friend. And what was it called? Human what?
It's called the Human Baton. It was basically a relay race. They have an amazing website. You can go to thehumanbaton.com. You can see a little bit about the event. It was a total free event. They were even giving out free beverages and waters and things like that. But it was really neat. They closed down the streets in Fort Lauderdale for a while to be able to get into these cars and, drive 40 miles an hour when they really go 100-something. But it was amazing. The running up the beach was very similar to the crossing for cystic fibrosis. But these guys are wearing full helmets and gear and doing some pretty exhilarating things. And they were actually doing it to just show how important post-traumatic stress is during those very difficult jobs.
I have to deal with that firsthand, the post-traumatic stress stuff. We used to call it flashbacks in the Vietnam War days. We didn't have these fancy names. Oh, dude, man, I just had a flashback, and you go back in your mind to reliving these things. And since all of this insanity with the virus started, there's a lot of people suffering from PTSD. It has just brought it on tremendously. and just keep him in your prayers because it's not a
Yeah.
sweet thing. So anyway, this last week we lost a really I don't even think I can find words to describe this person. A real pillar in the fishing community, and Robert Warner, who is with the New World Angler magazine, knew him, and I asked Robert this morning to let's devote some time and pay a tribute to Patrick Price, who had done so much to help so many. I think it would be an honor on my part, at least, to spend some time and let people know what we're going to be missing here, and to please remember to pray for the family. This really was unexpected. The last I had heard, and I'll let you on in just a minute, Robert. The last I had heard, he started to do better, and then the next thing I know, he had passed on. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning. How is everybody?
Good, Robert. Welcome to the show.
Well, yes, Patrick passed away on Labor Day, 1:28 in the afternoon, and it was unexpected. The day before that, I had talked to his sister-in-law, and he was awake and was eating food for the first time in 6 weeks, and then he passed away. But it's a nasty-ass disease, I can tell you that, and or virus, and he didn't deserve it, but it happened. There's going to be a story on Patrick in the magazine when it comes out. We have gathered stuff from everybody that was commenting and all sorts of other people, and I got some old footage from we had started to shoot a pilot couple of years back for Discovery Channel, Patrick and I, and Tony Ludovico, and
I remember
a couple
Tony.
of other people, and I got the footage. They sent me the footage, so that'll be in the magazine as a video.
Awesome.
But Patrick was a great guy. He, if anybody remembers the Bahamas and what happened in the hurricanes a couple of years back, Patrick was the first one around here to jump on it and make sure that he was shipping out. And I think they said at one point he figured they sent somewhere around 30 tons of stuff to the Bahamas between him and all the other captains he organized, and flights, and they were shipping stuff. They were taking stuff by boat. They were getting stuff to the Bahamas any way they could, and he was just that kind of guy. I fished with him numerous times. I know you've heard me mention the Midnight Snook Club that we have here. He was a member of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a member of the golf cart snook runs. So.
Wow.
But I found some old videos from when he and I first met. As a matter of fact, I think he was the first interview I ever did for the magazine. And it's funny because the day that I was there, we were talking on the back of the boat, and he keeps looking over the side, and I'm like, "What are you looking at?" And he goes, "There's a snook right there." So right in the middle of the interview, with the tape running, he grabs a hand line, hooks a sardine on it, flips it over, and catches the snook, flips it into the boat, and then we continued the interview.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, he was a great guy. He leaves behind an 8-year-old son and his wife, and it's been a bad year for the family. His father had died in July, which is how he contracted COVID. He had been very safe because he didn't get vaccinated. But he said, I'm only on the boat, and I go home, and my wife's vaccinated. She's a teacher. Said, so I think I'm safe. And then he went to his father's funeral, which is where he contracted COVID, which is just ridiculous. But at any rate, Patrick was a wonderful human being. If you go to Daymakercharters, not his website, if you go to his Facebook page, you can read all the stories. There's a GoFundMe page on there. Because this is going to be expensive. I have no idea what 6 weeks in a hospital is.
Oh, Lord. A lot. A lot more than you and I would make an entire year. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure. But, no, I mean, there's a million Patrick stories, but we went out one morning just to get bait. I was going out to shoot. That video will be in there too. But we went out just to get bait and ended up just joking and laughing and talking about all sorts of other nonsense. But in the course of catching bait, we caught a couple of grouper. So he
Can't go
was just,
wrong. Right?
He was if there was ever a natural-born fisherman, Patrick was that. Because
My goodness.
it's funny, when I first got up here and I started hearing about him, people talked about him like he was like a god. And I said, Patrick, why do these people talk about you like this? He goes, they think I'm a fish. He said they tell me I think like one, and sometimes they think I am one. So.
How old was he, Robert?
40.
Wow. And an 8-year-old son and a wife left behind. And they can certainly use as many prayers and as much help as they can get. Where was the raising money? What was that site?
It's on his Facebook page, Daymaker Charters.
Okay. And wow, now, I'm still in shock over this. I didn't know him
I am
personally.
currently in Facebook jail for 7 days, so I cannot speak to anybody on Facebook.
Well, welcome to my
But
world.
you can reach me. But you can reach me on what?
Welcome to my world. I'm constantly in Facebook jail.
Well, it's funny because it's Patrick's fault that I'm in Facebook jail. So. It has started some heated conversations when people. If you are a anti-vaxxer person, do not speak to me right now for at least 2 weeks, because I am not in a good mood, and I don't want to hear about it. So I opened up on somebody and got a little colorful with my language, I think. So.
Well, that's.
But anyway, if you want to reach me, you can reach me on Instagram, which for some reason is owned by Facebook, but I'm not banned from there. So.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh my goodness! So, well, there was. I had read a little bit about him, and that he was involved in several community. You had mentioned one about Haiti, but there was other stuff that he was.
No, the
involved.
Bahamas was the big one. The Bahamas was the.
I mean Bahamas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You had mentioned that one, but there was other stuff that he had done as well. And do you know about the other things that he had done? The community all the different community services he had provided.
Oh yeah, he's been a part of this community for a long time. Also, not to forget his accomplishments, he won the Stewart Sailfish Tournament twice.
Wow.
He came in second once, third once, and won it twice. He started off as a mate for Bone Shaker Charters, which was the first win, and then he won it once as his Daymaker Charters, and then came in second and came in third also in Daymaker Charter. But his fishing accomplishments are huge, as well as his accomplishments in the neighborhood and in the community. But he was a great human being, that's for sure, and he is going to be missed.
Big void, a big void in the fishing community.
Yep.
And it's gonna take some time to heal the wound that has occurred. I was going to say I've never met him personally, but I had heard all kinds of things about him. Much of it came from you. The curiosity about him initially came from you because you mentioned him on the show several times. I said, I'm going to go check this guy out. And I think it was Facebook that I went to, if I recall. And there was all kinds of stuff that this guy does. I mean, my goodness, this is another testimony to the people who are in the fishing community. And again, don't want to take away from the fishing community anywhere else. I'm just telling you, this is what I see here. Just another testimony to the fishing community here. Someone who would give you the shirt off of their back, even if the sun was out and they were going to get sunburned, they'd still give you the shirt off their back if you needed it more than they did. That kind of person. Now, it seems to be a predominant mentality here in what I experience here in the fishing community. And again, it's going to be it is not going to be, it is a very, very hard loss, a very difficult thing, especially when you think that they're going to be okay, and all of a sudden they turn the corner, and now they're no longer with us. This is Patrick.
They had transported him to Georgia.
Wow.
He had started off here in Cleveland Clinic, and there was a machine I don't remember the name of it, but it was a machine that would take your blood outside of your body, filter it, put it back. I don't know what that machine is called, but they had one in Georgia, so they flew him to Georgia.
Dialysis? Dialysis.
He was in a medically induced coma for about a week, I guess, 10 days maybe. And they transported him to Georgia, hooked him up to the machine. Things started to improve. It was a little hard coming out of the sedation, but finally came out of it. And like I said, the day before this happened, he was awake for the first time in 2 weeks and was able to eat solid food for the first time in over a month. So,
wow. Well, we got to be as careful as we can be and do whatever we can to protect ourselves.
And a cautionary tale here. If you think that you have COVID, you must immediately do something about it. That was the biggest part of the problem, was he waited a little bit too long to go to the hospital.
Wow.
They could not do the, what do they call it, what is that? Remdesivir. What is that? It's a
the immune therapy, I guess.
Monoclonal.
Yeah,
monoclonal.
Yeah, that they couldn't do that because it was too late. It had already gotten.
Yeah, you have to do that early on.
You have to do it in the first 4 days.
Yeah, you have to get that early on. If you do not do it in
the first 4 days, it is useless.
Yeah.
So if you think you have it, go get tested and find a site immediately that does those things and get it taken care of. Do not put it off. Do not think it's going to be okay. Do not think it's just the flu. It'll go away. It's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. Don't let it happen.
You have to treat it. The earlier that you treat it, the better off. This last week I caught a cold. I don't know if it was the variant, whatever it was, but as soon as I felt that little tickle, I started my protocol. And the protocol includes vitamin C, mega doses of vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, colloidal silver, there's a couple others I can't think of right off the bat. And one of my daughters is so worried about me. She said, they have everybody so afraid, and in some cases justifiably so, because they know three of people that I know, Patrick being number 4, and I really don't know Patrick, but online, but 3 people that I knew had died from this. So she was just sick, worried sick. I said, listen, if you can catch it early on, if you can stop the replication, that's the whole trick to this. Once it gets in your body and begins to replicate, it's like exponential. It grows faster and faster and faster. If you can slow that down and bring it to a stop, then your immune system can fight it. So here I am from day 5, and I'm not really suffering anything from it anymore. I'm pretty much over it. I'd say probably 95% over it at this point. I didn't have to go through severe coughing. I didn't have a severe temperature. The highest my temperature got up to was 99.6. I didn't have any problem breathing because I took breathing treatments. I have my own nebulizer. I nebulize colloidal silver and hydrogen peroxide, so I didn't have any problem breathing. Again, if you do it early and you catch it and stop it early, your odds of overcoming it are so much better. The longer that you wait, you're literally playing with Russian roulette with your life with this thing, and you just can't do that.
Go to the doctor, go to the hospital, get tested. If you have it, treat it, and treat it immediately.
Yeah, I can't mess. I don't wait. As soon as I feel that, with me, the way it starts, I don't know about anybody else, but with me, the way it starts is a little kind of a tickle that starts in the back of my throat, right around my nasal passages. And that tells me, something's up, something's starting. As soon as I felt that, I started my protocol. Mega doses of vitamin C, vitamin D3, zinc, the colloidal silver, and the breathing treatments, and something else doesn't come to mind. But this is day 5 now, and I have very, very little bit of it left. But again, I didn't go through what a lot of people are going through. I have friends of mine who catch maybe what I caught.
Well, my daughter had a cold too, but it's not a cold. It's not a cold. It's not the flu. It's not. It's just not. Everybody can say it is. They can say whatever they want. It is not. My friend Rob Ward is the CEO of Cleveland Clinic, and I have actually posted something on my Facebook page where he gave a speech to the local board of directors. If you don't like the truth, don't listen to it. But if you don't mind the truth, listen to it, because he tells you the exact facts. I have known this man for 35 years. I have fished with him. I have drank with him. I have spoken with him for 35 years. He is the CEO of Cleveland Clinic and deals with this stuff every day on a face-to-face basis. He knows exactly what he's talking about. He does not lie, and the whole story is right there. If you want to know what's going on and if it works and what doesn't, go to my Facebook page and take a look at the speech. His name is Rob Lord. It's probably out there in other places too. Well, I have known that man for well over 35 years. He does not lie, and he just laid it all out for the community.
I am convinced, and I think he would, I don't want to speak for him, but I think he would probably agree with me. I am convinced that the earlier that you start this, the better that your odds are of overcoming it without going through hell, if you will. And that's the whole trick to this thing, if you will, if there's a trick, if that's the correct word, is you've got to be aware of what's going on with your body.
But what's happened, Scala, is that it has become something that people make fun of. It's just a cold.
There's no fun making
times I've heard it's just a cold. It's just the flu. It's not. That's bullshit. You're listening to the wrong sources. You're following the wrong people, and they're giving you bad information. It is not just like cold. It is not just the flu, and it will, in fact, kill you. So if you don't want to take it seriously, you're going to die.
And there's plenty of evidence of that.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, I don't know if you folks recall as well as the listeners that I lost my father in November to COVID, and he was one of those stubborn guys that waited and waited and waited until his door had to be kicked in. So you know, it's important. It's important stuff. Just be aware of your body and when it doesn't feel well, and you know, we can all take care of each other. Even if you notice someone that's close to you that's not feeling very well, point it out.
But it has to be the first 4 days. The first 4 days are the most critical time. Like Rascala was talking about your fever. If your fever gets so high that you think you need to go to a hospital, it's probably already too late.
Yeah, and
if you're coughing so bad that you cannot breathe, it's probably too late.
Yeah. Sadly, and a lot of people wait and wait, and well, yeah, I can overcome this. I can overcome this. Yeah, I never got to a point where I felt I was in danger with what I had, and I may not have had this. It's very possible I had just a simple cold, but that's what I do. Anytime that first of all, I don't get sick very often. It's rare for me to get sick, and normally when I do get sick, it's around January, so it's not normal that I get sick around this time of the year. But when it happens, immediately go into the protocol. So I slow the food intake down and uptake all the vitamins and allow my body to fight it. And if it were to get any worse, I would immediately go to a doctor. But I never got to that point. I really didn't. Wasn't hacking. I wasn't coughing. I wasn't spitting up all kinds of stuff. There wasn't phlegm coming out. I didn't have the sore throat. I didn't have to deal with any of that. I was a little uncomfortable for a day or two, but pretty much
that's the other indicator, by the way. There won't be any phlegm coming out. It's a very dry cough, and there won't be any.
Interesting.
That's one of the biggest indicators of it. It's not a normal wet cough where you're coughing up something. It's just a cough.
Wow. Well, and again, I don't really have a cough now per se. My throat's a little dry, and that's about it at this point. And I checked my temperature this morning. I'm at 98.0. So, and I'm not usually at 98.6. I'm usually a little lower than that. So I'm about probably a half a point up. I'm usually around 97.5, 97 and 3/4. So again, it's all monitoring. It's all being able to identify your body, know that something's going on, and immediately take the steps necessary. Because if you don't, I don't want to hear about it anymore, my friends. I'm telling you, Patrick was number 4. 3 others just in the last 2 weeks. Three others from all of this. And it's difficult. It's difficult because you think about the families, you think about the people that love them, that they've left behind, and they're not. And it was premature. You know, these were people. One of them was a fellow radio broadcaster like me. I think he was young, a lot younger than me. I think he was in his mid 40s. And another broadcaster. Now that I think about it, he was a little older. He was closer to my age. that have passed on because of this. You want to be able to take care of it before you have to go to the hospital. When it's that bad and you have to go to the hospital, my goodness.
Yeah, the bottom line is we all need to do a much better job with this, or we'll still be dealing with this crap 2 years from now, and I don't want to do that. I'm tired of this crap.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to watch people that you love have to go through this, and the families that have to follow, have to try to fill that void that's gone. It's tragic all the way around. Nobody wins. This is one of the,
possible to fill this void.
This is one
Patrick
of those.
Has left me more sad than anything I have felt in years. It's been horrible.
Wow.
He was not just some acquaintance of mine. He was a friend. He was a person I talked to weekly. He was a person, he's done probably more fishing reports for the magazine than any human being I know. And,
wow.
I got used to the fact that we shot those once a month or once every 2 months or whatever we did. And we'd go out on the boat. He was not a person that I knew in passing. He was a person I knew, and I knew his family, and I knew them all. And it's not good. I don't want to ever do this again. Everybody needs to do a better job, and let's get through this shit.
And how is his family doing, by the way? Have they got
as well as
a
could be
support
expected,
system?
I suppose. But
do you know if there's a support system in place for them?
Yeah, there is, and
Okay.
it's being handled through his sister-in-law.
Excellent.
And it's on his Facebook page. You'll see it.
Okay.
It says
Robert,
it
do you know
says
they're going to
something
still?
about time to give back to Patrick Price.
Amen. Yeah.
And there's a
Go ahead, Carolyn.
I'm wondering if someone's going to be able to step up and run his boat for him.
I don't know. They had the boat lifted for the past few days in front of the marina. They
I
put
saw
it on
that.
a lift
Pretty
and
amazing.
put all
tribute,
their
yeah.
flags on it and ran it in front of the marina. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to take over the charter. Nobody from his family will be able to. I don't know if somebody's going to want to step into those shoes or not. I don't know. That would be a very difficult step for someone.
Nobody wins.
Yeah, that would be very difficult. It would be very, very difficult to fill that.
Right.
He was a mystical captain. He was.
Seems to be that way.
Looking for fish, and Patrick would show up at the dock with a boat full. He was he was just that kind of guy. Like I said, people used to accuse he thinks like a fish. He is a fish. But, there'd be people out there struggling all day long to try to find 2 dolphin, and he'd come in with a boatload. People like, where'd you find these? The only information you get out of him is the depth, 150 feet. Where? Just 150 feet. Out there somewhere. Go look for it.
I'll share this story with you because this is very similar to what you just mentioned. There was a time when we went down to the Keys. I was living in Color Ridge at the time, so the trip to the Keys wasn't too bad. Just before Hurricane Andrew destroyed our whole neighborhood. And we went down the Keys and we went fishing. And for the life of us, we couldn't catch anything. We couldn't catch any mahi. We couldn't catch anything we drift across the drop and couldn't catch anything of value. And it was just one of those days where we got skunked. And so we come back, and as we're at the dock and we're pulling, I'm reeling the boat up on the trailer. There's a little place over there where you can clean your fish. These guys come in, and they've got a whole boatload of. They had mahi, they had snapper, they had, I don't know what else they had, but they had a whole boatload of fish. To be honest with you, I got mad at him. What did he do why did he deserve all those fish? I mean, my gosh, we put in all kinds of effort. We spent all kinds of time, and we didn't catch spit. And this guy comes in, and his whole boat is full of fish. I was upset. So that was
sure
probably.
There were many days that people looked at Patrick like that. So.
I did. It was upset me. I said, I can't imagine that our bait was any different than their bait. And so what? Are the fish like their boat better than my boat? My boat doesn't look good enough for them, or what? I mean, I was just asking myself all these silly questions, but I was upset. Doggone it. We spent all that time. We did all that effort, and we came back with nothing. This guy, they come rolling in, big smiles on their faces. Blood, of course, blood all over the boat from the mahi. And that it reminded me of what you were just talking about. It seemed like they were like
Patrick
this,
was very
like Patrick.
picky about some things. If you went out bait fishing with Patrick with sabiki rigs, you weren't allowed to touch the fish that were coming off the hook. You had to use a de-hooker. No human hand could touch those fish, in his opinion. So
You know
had to
why?
dump them straight from the sabiki rig with the de-hooker into the live well.
And then when you bait them, the same thing, right? You don't touch them.
Well, no, then you can pick them up. But he said that they don't live as long, and they seem to put out a different scent if you've handled them too much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
he was
he's
very
right.
picky about how you handled his bait.
I think he's right. You know who else mentioned something like that was Pam Worth. She was saying that some of the fish, when you handle the fish, you remove some of the essential oils that are on the fish, and that leaves a kind of like a scar, if you will. And it apparently it makes a change of some sort. So yeah, there's other people who believe right along that same line. That's like, that's experience, that's wisdom, that's watching the details. A lot of people wouldn't pay attention to those details, and I'll bet it did make a difference that he did it like that.
Well, I'm sure it did. He was never wrong. If it was about fishing, he was not wrong ever that I'm aware of. So.
Wow. And has there been a service already, or is there going to be a service?
No, service will be next week sometime. They have to get, he was in Georgia, so they had to do some transporting and so.
Yeah, and I'm sure that'll be up on the Facebook page.
It'll be on the Daymaker Charters page, I'm sure,
Okay.
or the Patrick Price page. You can look them up.
Daymakercharters.com.
No, just Daymaker Charters on Facebook. His
Oh, I see.
website is
I see.
daymakercharters.com. I don't think it'll be there.
Okay.
But his Facebook page is just Daymaker Charters, or you can pull up his private one or his personal one, which was just Patrick Price.
He will be sorely missed, my friend. My condolences to you and the family. Prayers. I've mentioned him and the family in prayers this last week several times, as well as myself, asking God, please don't let me die from this from this cold. And I came through pretty good. Thank you, God. Appreciate it. Oh my gosh. All right, my friend. Thank you for sharing with us. We truly have lost an angel. Having gained one,
Yeah,
we
we did.
lost one. And it's going to be.
But I'm sure there's some fishing going on somewhere. So.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to share with us. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say something. I pretty much walked all over her all morning. Go ahead, Carolyn.
No, that's okay. I didn't have a personal experience with him. I know of his reputation, and if he was a little closer, I probably would have gone fishing with him. But he's going to be missed, and the future generations that could have learned from him won't get that skill. But it's just it's a sad thing to have another person that we all know, or one of us knows, pass away from this or anything. So at such a young age, so I'm very sorry for the family, and
unexpected.
we'll be thinking about him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. You have a great day.
Thank you, Robert.
Thanks,
God
Robert.
bless you, my friend. Be well.
Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and don't go away because it won't be long.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show with your host, Scala Stevens. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Do you have an unusual pet? Did you know that the Rainforest Clinic in Loxahatchee specializes in exotic pets? They see pets that other vets don't. Parrots and chickens, ducks, geese, turtles, snakes, goats, pigs, lizards, and even monkeys. Are you a beekeeper? Dr. Club, the first of her kind in the area? Yes, she takes care of bees as well. Dr. Susan Club has decades of experience and known around the world for her reputation as a premier avian vet. Located at 3319 E Road in Loxahatchee, just a short distance north of Okeechobee Road, you will find a modern clinic with in-house labs, which allow you to get your test answers quickly. You can find them online at www.susanclub.com. That's www.susanclub.com. Or you can reach her at 561-795-4878. It's Dr. Susan Club. That's 561-795-4878. The Rainforest Clinic located in Loxahatchee. 561-795-4878.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
While other stations just talk a good game, we win it.
Hey, sounds like somebody's having a lot of fun.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on. When the sun shines all day. I just caught me a grouper. Some fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah, fishing and blowing on.
Good morning from the Sunshine State. Broadcasting from Palm Beach County, it's the Fishing in Florida Show. Sundays from 8 to 10 a.m. on the WCET FM network. And now, here's your host, Riscala.
Snuck by me. Yeah, that one wasn't supposed to be saying things like WCET. That's the old network. We're on the Trim radio network. WCET was the old. I thought I took care of that a couple of times already. Oh my goodness! You know, that's what happens when you get older. You forget about things. It's in some ways it's an enjoyment. You can watch a movie that you haven't seen in a while. Don't remember anything about the movie. It's like watching it for the first time all over again.
I do that all the time.
Oh my goodness! Well, there is several different ways that you can listen to us, and one of those ways is if you have the TuneIn app, then you can go to Marina Rock Radio. A big thank you to Marina Rock Radio. They allow us to use their servers on Sunday morning. So you can, if you have the TuneIn app, you can go to Marina Rock Radio and you can pick us up there off of Marina Rock. If you don't have the TuneIn app and you would like to have our app, well, it's absolutely free. You can pick it up at any of the major stores. It is available for the Android, and it allows you to listen to anything that's going on the network. And there are no, there's no spyware, there's no adware, there's no push notifications. We don't want permission to see your photos or your friends' names and phone number. We don't want any of that. We just want to be able to give you the easiest way that we know of to listen to the network. So if you're on the web, you can go to our couple of places on the web. You can go to our home page, which is fishinginfloridashow.com. If you're on Facebook, go to Fishing in Florida Show on Facebook and click on Contact Us. That will get you a live server. And then, of course, you go to our home network, the Trim Radio, WTRMradio.com. There's a player there as well. So there's we try to make it as easy as we can for our listeners because I appreciate each and every one of you. This morning I have Carolyn with me. Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, this young lady is who you have to talk to. Carolyn with Atlas Trax. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
So did you get to do any fishing this last week?
I did not get to do any fishing. I got to pick out some new fishing rods, So that was kind of fun. We have a company, Bats and Rods, that's going to be making some for the Pink Ladies fishing team. So that was kind of an experience. I didn't realize how many choices you had for, colors and guides and lengths and all of that. So that was kind of fun. But no fishing. Hopefully get out this middle of this week, sneak out. We just got our boat back from some repairs and love to, it's full of gas, so I'd love to go out and use it.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you had pulled it. You had pulled the boat out of the water, and all that went smooth. All the repairs are done. You're ready to ride.
Ready to ride. I think we're getting a radar tomorrow, radar replacement, but we're ready to ride. So, it's nice to have it back home. It's a little daunting when you're used to having a boat in your backyard and you look out, it's gone. The first thing you think of is, who stole it. So it took me a couple, it was gone for a week, so it took me a while to get over that little panic.
It's sad that is happening here in South Florida. With the help of some people, it has diminished a little, but it continues on and on and on. And it's not just the boats now that I've seen 3 reports this last week where one marina, I think it was like 20 boats they hit in one marina, taking the equipment, predominantly Garmin equipment off of the boats. We were talking earlier about protecting yourself from this virus. If you have something like this, is why I say if you want to protect what you love to the max. To me, when I had my boat, that was one of my greatest loves. I told him I was married at the time. I told him, I don't have time for a woman. This is my affair, my boat. I loved my boat, and if somebody was to take something off my boat, that would really upset me. I mean, to the point where I'd probably get physical with that person. So I did everything I could back then. This is a long time ago. I did what I could back then. I put an alarm, a physical alarm on it. But if they had taken my boat, I'd be out of luck. There was no way for me to track my boat. I had the wonderful experience of having a car that, I don't know, other people seem to want more than me. I got stolen 3 times in 1 year. It was the most sick feeling. It's just disgusting feeling. You right out of my driveway one of the times. But I went to, we were shopping. Again, I was married at the time. It was my wife and I. We went to a small strip mall. That was hard to say. And parked the car. I knew where I parked the car. We went in. We had lunch there. We enjoyed a little bit of the ambience around. Came back out, bought a couple of things, came back out, holding bags. Where's the car? Car's gone. The most empty feeling. You know where you parked the car and then now it's gone. So, well, this is happening also with boats here. And not just boats, with that wide variety of things, but boats is predominantly. What I'm seeing is that they will steal a heavy-duty truck of some sort, a Dodge or a Ford, these really heavy-duty, the dualies, the ones that have the dual wheels on the back. They'll steal one of those trucks and then they'll have a boat in mind that they've already pre-positioned. They already know where the boat is and where they're going to take it and where they're going to strip it down. And what I learned in the days that when my car got stolen, one of the times that it got stolen, I actually caught the people. They didn't have the car more than maybe 10 or 15 minutes because I took another car and ran around the block and there they were. The amount of damage that was done to my car that time was minimal in comparison to the times when they had it for a day or a day and a half. They were out joyriding around in my car. The lesson that I learned is the faster that you can get your equipment back, the more the odds are in your favor that the equipment doesn't suffer a tremendous amount of damage. How can you do that? You can do it with things like Atlas Trax. And there's a wide variety of products. My favorite of the Atlas Trax is a little portable tracker. You can put it in your pocket. It's that small. It's waterproof. If you go out on a boat, and God forbid something happens, and you have this thing on the back of your pocket, it's like literally being able to find a needle in a haystack, because it allows whoever's looking for you to pinpoint you literally within 10 feet anywhere on the planet. That's amazing. So if you have something that you love, and I say this all the time, and you want to protect it to the max, Atlas Trax is where you need to be looking at. These people that have got all of that stuff stolen from them, there are boat alarms that Atlas Trax that can provide you, that could at least make some noise. A lot of times these people want to get in and out quick. They don't want to make any noise. They want silence. That's how they get away with what they're doing. They trip something, and all of a sudden all this noise goes off. A lot of them go scattering like cockroaches. And so this is another thing that you can do to help protect yourself. What's some of the other stuff that you have, Carolyn? I know you have the physical alarm. But then, do you have a wireless? You have a wireless alarm too, right?
We're working on a wireless alarm right now with sensors. I'll tell you, the boat alarm is awesome. We also scaled that down by request. Some people just want a trailer or landscape trailer done. So simply the alarm can just have a door sensor and a very thin, long cable, about 60 feet, that can just wrap around a tree or wrap around the wheels of a trailer, even landscape trailers. So we have people that are using our boat alarms, really just scaling them down for just everyday use, a jet ski trailer in the driveway. We've got solar trackers that don't even need any kind of maintenance. You just put them outside, mount them, and they're good to go. And those are for theft, but also just a lot of people want to know where their boats are when they're being transported, up and down the coast or long days offshore. Of course, we're doing beacons now, the safety beacons. So if the boat sinks, it gets wet, it notifies the Coast Guard directly. But the Atlas Trax, as a matter of fact, the little mini Trax you like, I gave it to firefighter Mike yesterday when he did his entire 4 legs of that race. And, we were checking altitude when he jumped out at 12,000 feet.
Wow.
And we were checking their speed on the beach. So he had it right in his side pocket. So that worked really well.
I may have this wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong, but if I had one of the little portable trackers and I put it in my car, for example, and somebody decides to take my car, when it senses that the car has moved, doesn't it send a signal back? Or no?
Yeah, so what it does is we program each tracker based on what it's going on. So we typically have the trackers do a 1-day report, and if it moves, it'll start sending messages, typically for boats every 10 minutes. But, for example, I programmed Mike's yesterday for every 2 minutes, so that way it was giving updates every 2 minutes. If you told me it was going on a sailboat, I'd make it maybe every 1 or 2 hours because those boats travel a lot slower and cover less distance. But typically for vehicles, every 5 minutes, 10 minutes is probably how I would program that. And that gives a chance for somebody to get an email or a text with a map, a location, a time at every update. So typically when a boat's stolen, the customer will just take a screenshot of the map, show it to the police department, and go to that particular area or start chasing down their asset, which happened in Fort Pierce about 8 weeks ago now. But yeah, it notifies on movement, which is great.
And that's a classical story there. They stole the boat, and the tracker notified who got notified first, you or him?
The customers always manage their own accounts. If they want me to kind of keep a look on them, if we're doing a float plan or something, then we obviously jump on their account. Otherwise, there's full privacy to the client. But the client noticed he was getting messages at 11:30 at night. His boat was in a storage yard, called that storage yard. The owners went and looked, and I'll be darned, that boat was, they knocked the chain link fence down, and 3 guys took the boat. What happened was, which is exciting, is 4 boats were stolen that day. Bass Pro Shops had 2 stolen, another person, and just our customer was a tracker. They were able to locate all 4 boats, all the engines, because they were all being taken apart in the woods in the same area. So it was a huge success story. But, of course, he called me at 12:30 in the morning, just to make sure that I was there as an extra set of eyes watching the maps, and as he was actually driving to go try and get the boat himself and get his eyes on it. So it was a long night, but thank goodness the customer paid attention to his emails or his text messages.
That was what I was going to ask you next, is how are you notified?
Yeah, absolutely. So it can be done by email or by text messaging. And, folks going to the Bahamas where there's limited email ability, they'll usually get text messages. And you can add people, remove people. Sometimes we'll just make an account that's good for a weekend if somebody's traveling with a couple and they want their family to know where they are, but don't want to see, all of their history. So we'll do really custom stuff like that, which is, unusual. If somebody says, hey, keep an eye on me while I'm going to the Bahamas for the first time, I'll typically will add myself to their account and kind of make sure they get to whatever island they're going at, and then I take myself off the account and they're on their own to go fishing. So we do small special things like that. So
this is the advantage of dealing with a small company, which is one of the one of the things that I like to promote. You don't get this kind of service with a big conglomerate. Somebody has to talk to somebody, to make sure they get the clearance so that they can do whatever it is that you want to do, because it's all about your security and it's all about your privacy, but it's nothing to do with about helping you. Oh, yeah. This is why I like dealing with small companies. And the little one that we've talked about, this is my favorite because it is so versatile. It's not just for a boat. It's again, you said that I forgot his name, but he had it in his pocket the whole time. You can put it on you. You can put it in a boat. You can put it in a car. You can put it on a jet ski. You can put it on anything. And what about an aircraft, Carolyn? What happens? Sure. What happens if I take that? It's programmed for one thing, and I stick it in an aircraft. Does it still work?
It'll still work for the programming that was set. But if you tell me it's going on an airplane specifically, I put a different program in that can actually calculate altitude. So we have a customer that personally flew his plane from Fort Lauderdale to Connecticut. And I'll be darned, that thing tracked, 8,000, 9,000 feet perfectly all the way up and almost matched the FAA site, which is called FlightAware, where you can actually track tail numbers of planes. So, typical 10,000 feet and below, I would say yes. We get up higher than that 20, 30,000 feet, probably not so much. But, not too many aircrafts track that well. But it's good. Some people take it from their boat or to put it in the plane and take it on the boat in the Bahamas. And, they end up getting multiple trackers because they like knowing that their plane is still on the runway and not being stolen from some remote island in the Bahamas.
And you can program it to report. The intervals are variable, I guess is the best way to ask the question. The difference in time, you can program it from, say, every minute. Could you do it as every minute?
We can do it as low as every 2 minutes. And what that's good for is like guys like FEMA or search and rescue guys that are out walking. When typically, let's look at these hurricanes, all the cell towers were down, or they changed the cell towers to be just for emergency responders. So it's a really good product to have, because if someone's foot traffic or delivering food or sandbags or anything like that, then they can be located pretty quickly. So typically 2 minutes is the shortest we can do for satellite, which is very fast, thinking about the signal has to go from the Earth to satellite back to an area that disperses out the messages. So that's a very short time frame.
Wow. Amazing technology. Something has always captured my fancy, is to be able to do that. All right, I think we have Joe Hector on, and Joe is with Extreme Kayak Tournaments, and I believe Joe is someone else who knew Patrick as well. So welcome this morning, Joe, to the Fishing in Florida show, and good to have you on, my friend. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Joe. Good welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, I didn't, we weren't like, best friends or anything, but I definitely knew him, and he was a fan of my tournament and made it out to quite a few of them, and not even competing, just, coming to the kickoff party and hanging out with the guys. And it's just very sad news when I was notified by quite a few people, actually, including yourself, and it was, just really sad. I mean, especially with, everything else going on in this world, in this country lately. It's just pretty unbelievable, really.
It's a shock to a lot of people, and it's going to be a hard void to fill, if it can be filled at all. He helped so many different people in so many different ways. We had Robert Warner on before we had you on. Robert is with the New Angler magazine, and Robert was personal friends with him and shared quite a bit. And even with what Robert described, there was just so many different people that were touched by this man, and it gives a testimony to our fishing community here in South Florida, how the mentality of the community is to help. Whenever we can, we help. And again, it's going to be a hard one to fill. You mentioned your tournaments. When is your next tournament, by the way?
My next tournament is January 29th.
Oh, that'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, and we're in deep planning for that, and that's going to be our Sailfish Smackdown tournament. So yeah, we are excited about that coming up. Like I said, hopefully we're going to be able to do it, given I feel like we're kind of going backwards in some of these places, but event-wise, and with all the permitting, there's actually, a lot of people don't get. There's a lot that goes into doing these tournaments, right? And on the back end with the city, and because we have it on the beach, which is a whole other, issue there. We have to get approval from many different officials, like the head of the lifeguard, the head of the police, the head of the fire department. It goes on and on. But, we were lucky back in 2020 to have at least a couple of them. And then this year we were able to have 3 of them. The reason why we weren't able to have 4 was because there was such a line and everything was so backed up with the city, with these events, that we were only able to get one date to get what we needed from them to put it on. So I
hear her. I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually taking her for a walk right now. But the reason why I'm saying that is just because we've gotten so many questions, and a lot of people just asking why, why 3, why this, why that, and it's throughout last year, and it's just so much that goes into it. So hopefully for this year everything will be back to normal, but we'll see. We just gotta keep plugging away and act like it is, and we'll take everything as they come.
What do you think will be the turnout, providing everything remains relatively normal? I mean, I don't know if it'll ever be normal again, but providing everything is relatively stable, maybe that's a better way to put it. What do you think your turnout's going to be?
Yeah, so as long as the weather is nice, which it's 50-50 in that winter type tournament, but we'll probably get, I would say, 70 to 110.
Wow.
Weather's nice, we'll definitely get a little bit over 100 usually, and if it's not nice, we'll still get a good group of, around 70-something guys, 80-something guys, especially the out-of-state guys. We get a big number for that tournament of out-of-state anglers, and that's probably our most popular amongst the out-of-state anglers. So.
And it's kayaks. Everybody's fishing kayaks. That's the amazing part. I think of Pam Morris and the picture that comes to mind of her holding a sailfish as big as the kayak as she's sitting in, with a big smile on her face. It is amazing. I don't know how people in kayaks can do this. I've seen some of the videos where they specifically go after, like, what are those called? A big grouper. I can't remember what they're called. The Goliath grouper.
Yeah, the Goliath. Yeah.
They pull up this Goliath grouper. The thing must weigh hundreds of pounds, and they're in this little bitty kayak. It's amazing that they don't flip over and lose everything.
Yeah.
It requires a special skill.
The design is great. With all these kayaks today, when I first started, it was funny. You would look at a line of kayaks ready to compete, and they were all like Malibus and these little like multicolored pinks and green Malibus, and no rod holders, and some Oceans, like the Orange Crush and all that. So it's amazing looking back at like 2010 and seeing the lineup, and then you fast forward to today, like 11 years later, or 10 years later, whatever, 11 actually, yeah. And, it's all the decked out, Hobies and Oceans and Old Towns. And it's pretty amazing to see the technology and how far along it's all come,
To think that it all
including
came,
the pedal drive.
that started with a canoe, right? I think that's where the first initial idea came from, was the small canoes that people had.
Oh, yeah.
And it carried from
Yeah.
that to the kayaks. I've even seen inflatable foldable inflatable kayaks. I've seen that as well. Really, the technology has just exploded with what they can do with them. And like you mentioned, they have now there's rod holders. I think they even have a place for a live bait well. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. I would say almost all of our kayaks today all have the live bait wells.
Wow.
If not, they'll have a bucket, with an aerator or multiple aerators. And, man, downriggers, outriggers, multiple rod holders, up to 4 or 5, including the shotgun. GPS systems. I mean, they're all LED lighting. They're essentially like little boats at this point, So it's cool to see that. It's cool to see the technology built through the years. And if you would have told me years ago when I was in my 20s doing this tournament, in 2010, I mean, man, I would have just laughed if you would have said, hey, this is what it's going to turn into, because I really just thought it was going to be a side thing, to make a little extra cash and have some fun. That was really the goal when I started. And, it's amazing what it's turned into.
Well, you still have the fun, but it takes a lot more work now.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. But I will say, the people that I've met through the years, of doing this thing, and the relationships and the businesses and the just everything together, the travel, putting one on in Texas, doing the Bahamas for 4 years, doing the one recently, the freshwater for the first time with exotics. I mean, it's just amazing to look back and see, what we've done in our 20s and early 30s. It's something we'll never forget, I mean, truly. And I can show that to my daughter, and and hopefully that'll inspire her to do the same, and show that with hard work, and you put your mind to something that you truly love, and nothing will stop you. And it's just a fact.
That's inspiration there now.
If you truly put in the work and you love what you're doing, and you really do, and I'm talking about beyond love. I'm talking about a love like that just resonates in your soul, and you live and breathe it. You will not be stopped, and that's what I've learned, and that's what I'm teaching my little girl.
That's an awesome lesson, my friend. Go ahead, Carolyn.
No, I was going to add and just say it's so important to bring the new generations up, especially I'd like to see these little female anglers that are coming through the ranks. So you being out there, Joe, is pretty awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And that, I will say too, to add in, with our exotic tournament that we recently just had, what was great about that was the amount of junior anglers we had. That was our biggest turnout we've ever had for juniors. And,
wow.
It makes sense. They're not going offshore, so their families are way more comfortable, and it was great to see all these kids compete.
How many kids do you think you had show up there?
Oh, for that tournament alone, we had almost 40.
Wow.
We were at like 36, 37.
Now think of that.
Oh,
That's 36, 37 kids whose interests are being changed. Instead of going out and getting in trouble, they're involved in something that they can do for the rest of their lives. For me, in my experience of life, I was getting in trouble all the time until I learned fishing. I was a curious kid, and the curiosity, it's like they say about the Curious George thing. Curiosity got me in all kinds of trouble because it wasn't like I intended to do something wrong. I was just curious, and sadly, the things that I was curious about and the way that I went about doing them was wrong. And once I learned about fishing, I love fishing. I could never get enough of it. So that really did. It kept me from getting in more trouble. And so I see that as a possibility for a lot of these kids. Get them involved in this, get them away from some of these other things that are not so beneficial, and hopefully they learn about our environment as well as they're learning all these things. They learn about our environment and want to work to protect our environment because it's going to be for them. They're the ones that are coming up.
Exactly. And, we did our first junior fishing camp right before that tournament. I think that was a big part of it as well. And now we're planning to do a lot more of those for the kids. I had a blast doing it, and we had a great turnout, and we did it at Lake Ida. Hi, sweetie. Look at that pretty dress. There's just princesses everywhere. So pretty.
Now, for those of you listening, don't know what he's doing. He's walking with his daughter, who seems to completely overcome him on Sunday mornings. I guess daddy duty is Sunday mornings for you, right?
Oh yeah. So actually, I think I called on time this time. So I think it worked out pretty well. I actually was planning a little extra for it, and we made it work. So that was good too.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, my friend. Thank you for taking the time to share with us this morning. And I want to see some pictures of the little one, the little adorable one there. I want to get some pictures up. Let's see what she looks like. Wish you an awesome day, and let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you.
No, absolutely. I appreciate the fact that you're doing what you're doing with your family and building an incredible business that folks can get out and see each other and learn how to fish and just get some fresh air. And your beach events are just awesome.
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And again, with the recent news, it's one of those things where you gotta just sit back and just say, you know what, like we still have to move on and do what we're doing, but never forget forget the guys that have been a part of this sport, and just never forget, And that's the thing. And I feel like in a world today, people forget so easy, about everything.
True. Quite true.
So
I know you had
to teach that to the kids.
I know you had a close call with Mom. How's Mom doing?
Oh, she's doing a lot better.
Good.
A lot better.
Cool.
So it was so hot, and it's amazing. I can't believe that she was that dehydrated, but she was. And it's funny because she drinks a good amount of water, but I guess okay, sweetie, okay. I guess just because she wasn't used to Florida. She's actually from Jersey, and I guess just all that together, I don't know, just got to her.
Well, I'm glad she's okay. I wish you an awesome day, my friend.
Thank you so much, guys. Again, I really appreciate you guys having me.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Thinking of moving? Before you do anything else, call Diane Whittick. She provides a concierge service. Things like having your home or condo packed and shipped. Even take care of your home repairs or upgrades. Diane has the expertise to get it done. As a seller, you will have constant contact. She will furnish you with bids on any services that might need completion. Air conditioning, plumbing, handyman, and even cleaning. Living up north and have a home to sell here in South Florida? Just give her the keys, address, and a signature. Your payment will be wired when the property is sold. That's right, Diane does it all. Thinking of buying? Diane has great listening skills. Tell her what you want, give her your budget, and like a genie, she will make your real estate wish come true. There's no regrets when you choose Diane Whittick. To reach Diane, call 561-247-5478. That's 561-247-5478.
Grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I'm fishing
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. Good morning to you if you're just joining us. Thank you for taking the time to do that. We are kind of remembering one of our fellow people here in the fishing community this morning, paying a tribute, if you will, to Patrick Price, someone who was quite a central point in so many things, and it is a hard loss. It's a really hard loss. And just remembering the family, and please say a prayer for them. It's unfortunate, very tragic what has happened. And it just goes as a point of warning to people. You've got to be aware what's going on with your body. When you feel something happening, don't wait. Start to respond to that right away. All right, let me welcome back my co-host. That is Carolyn with Atlas Trax. If you want to protect what you love to the max, Carolyn with Atlas Trax. That's who you got to talk to. Welcome back, Carolyn.
Oh, thanks, Rascala. You know, I love hanging out on Sundays, and it's the fastest 2 hours ever.
It is unbelievably quick. And I believe we have Captain Tim and Ashley Hoban on with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There they are.
Good morning. So now the comedy 15-minute starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, really?
This is why I wanted to put them in this.
Open my mouth today.
This is why I put him in the slot, because I knew that would put a smile on people's faces. I mean, just listen to her. She's, say it again, Ashley. Say good morning. Say
good morning.
You see what I'm talking about? How can you not smile when you hear that? Oh my goodness. So how are y'all doing?
Feeling good. My lips have some blisters from the sun. I tell you, it's hot out there.
Oh my gosh, blister! You got sun blistered?
Well, I mean, like you wake up and your lips are like. I use a zinc oxide even, but I'm on the back deck with no coverage all day, and the sun just gets underneath the hat and gets off the water.
Wow.
The worst thing is the lips. You got to apply it, I guess, more than once.
That's very fortunate.
We'll wake up in the middle of the night, and I'll be like, my lips hurt so bad, and he's like, mine too.
Too funny. Oh my goodness. So share with us some of the fishing stories since the last time that you've been on.
Well, we've caught some muttons, some kingfish, some sailfish, a little bit mix here and there. It hasn't been real easy to get a bite at all, but
we caught a sailfish on a dead sardine.
Yeah, we had a bunch of goggle eye out and threadfin herring, and he hit the dead free line. I always mix it up with my different techniques, and you never know what's going to make it happen,
Amazing.
Drip the no weight, the circle hook in the nose, a nice sardine just way back there, and he picked it up. That was nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
A nice release on him.
Wow. And so anything...
That one was...
Go ahead, Ashley.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead.
That one was cool because everybody on the boat had never been, I think they were from New Jersey, but they had never been deep sea fishing anything. They didn't know anything, had never even bass fished or whatever.
Smokes. Wow.
So I was like, oh my God, y'all are getting to see the trophy fish today. The whole family was in shock. And I thought that was pretty cool.
I bet that, see, now that will be a memory for the rest of their lives. I promise you, I have no doubt in my mind. They will remember that for the rest of their lives. You can't put a price on that. Wow.
No.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were so pissed when I let it go.
They were like, we're not going to keep it?
I know. My son took me out for Father's Day, this last Father's Day, and they took us out into an area where we were catching snook. Big snook, really big snook. And I thought I would be okay with it, because it wasn't snook season. I thought I would be okay with it, catch them and let them go. No, I wasn't okay with it. I wanted to keep that fish. Oh my gosh. Oh, it was amazing.
You should have seen everyone's faces. I had my hook removal tool and I had them by the nose in the water. I don't lift them out of the water anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just tired of seeing them. Just 10 seconds. You can't get a picture in 10 seconds. No one gets their shit together. It's like 15 seconds. I'm like, I'm just going back in, and the people don't even get the shot. So I don't even bother anymore. I'm like, hang your head over the side of the boat and get a shot. I'm like, get your shot. And then I let it go, and I'm like, bye, fishy. And everyone's like, I turn around and their face is like, why'd you do that? Right?
Oh, my
I think
God.
I spent 10 minutes
explaining why they're called sport fish and why we catch and release. Because we can eat them, but I highly doubt that these people would even know how to prepare this thing.
They just want to kill someone.
Yeah.
The only thing I've ever heard about sailfish and eating sailfish, if I remember right, was the shoulder. They make fish dip out of it. Am I right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, they smoke it.
Yeah,
they make a lot of fish dip out of it. We try everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I've never done sailfish. My buddies have.
So I can imagine. I can imagine that because this is their first time ever, and then seeing a beautiful fish like that, and just imagining what they're going to be able to do with it, and all of a sudden they're swimming away, and the captain's going, "Goodbye, fishy."
Yeah, my heart's all warm and fluttery, feeling like I did a good thing. I turn around and it's like the look on the face when I gaff and bat some fish to death on the boat, and the kids have this look like, what just happened? We wanted to let Nemo go. And I'm like, well, you guys got to let me know which way we're doing it here. Are we keeping them? It seems living the day, or are they getting slaughtered? Like, what's happening?
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
I can only
ask. Hey.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Hey, got a no mismatch. You want it bloody, or are we keeping it clean today? What's the deal? 'Cause I don't know which way to go. I just kind of roll with it.
That would be pretty horrifying for a young kid if they're not expecting that.
Yeah.
I've seen eyes look at me, and I'm like, well, I guess new rule is just put them in the box and have someone sit on it. Like no more rodeo on the deck with a 40-pound mahi slapping in the back of the head.
Holy smokes. Yeah, that would be a shock to somebody if you didn't know what was coming and you were got into a school of mahi. Oh my
got
goodness.
Them on the boat kicking and bleeding everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Knocking the coolers around on you, they're so strong.
We did have I remember this kid was like 5, and once he saw Tim bat a fish, he wanted to bat every fish after that. He wanted to be the one to do it.
The mom was like, come here, Johnny, stop.
Yeah.
He was getting worried. Like, I don't know what you did to him, but he turned him into something.
Oh, my God.
He was my Batman.
Yeah. He held the bat the whole day.
Oh, my God.
He was like
too
a
funny.
10-year-old, too.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, 5-year-old. Yeah, he looked like a 10-year-old. He was 5. If he asked for your lunch money, you might hand it to him for that bat. Because you see the work he was putting in? I was worried about him. Like, this kid, you might want to watch him after.
What happens when he gets older?
It just created something. Changed the history of his life.
Lord have mercy. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's too funny.
Yeah, I love shaping people's futures.
So no fishing today, huh?
No, not today. I tried to take Sundays off. I did a double yesterday, and it was so much for me. That was like parking with boats 2 feet from, did snorkel trips, and Peanut Island was packed. Friday was dead. I did a 8-hour trip Friday, and it was dead on Peanut Island around that place. But yesterday was insane. And,
so you
I don't
mentioned
know if they're shutting down places down south or what, but there's a lot of people from south coming up here. It's just really busy. It's nice, but when you're trying to work and take care of people, I got hit in the head by a paddle boarder, and then my back. I turned around and yelled at him.
How do you get hit in the head?
And whacked my back. Like karma, I have instant karma. So I do anything bad. Like I screamed, I was like, yo! And then I whacked my back, and I was all scratched up, and I'm freaking, oh my God.
How do you get whacked by a paddle boarder?
Well, I had this couple that didn't. They didn't want to listen to me, and I'm like, you need fins. And the little girl's like, if I'm not wearing fins, because she was so small, little girl, you're not wearing fins, Mom. And I'm like, all right, well, don't leave the rope. Have a rope out there. Don't leave the rope. Well, whatever. They took off, so I had to go get them. And I couldn't pull 4 people at once, so I brought them to the island. I was like, I'm going to go back to the boat, get your fins. So I swam back to the boat, get some fins. And they were in front of me with the fins as I was swimming, holding them out.
Oh.
And I couldn't see the paddleboard. All of a sudden, he hits me over my shoulders, and I ducked down. And when I popped back up, I was yelling at him and hit my back on the rocks. So, I should have just let it go. Because after I hit my back, I kind of wanted to go chase him down. But he was going pretty fast.
You guys never disappoint me. Oh, I get such a laugh out of you guys. What a riot. What a riot. So, you mentioned you pulled a double and you did this and that. So, and for those who may be not familiar, you are for hire. You are a professional captain. How do people reach you? Where do they find you?
Look me up on the internet, put in my islands adventure, or just even search my islands, my real estate company and my charter company will come up. Give me a call, 561-262-7150. And we book anything from 2-hour trips up to full day trips, up to 6 people. That's the criteria. And 6 people includes anything outside of the female. Like if it's a baby, that's still a person. People are really confused on that one. So if it's inside the mom, that's not considered a person, just to be clear. I got to explain this. You know what I mean?
Goodness.
I really got to explain this one. So.
That doesn't count. That's a twofer, right? That's what that's called.
Yeah, if they're in the belly, you're good on having them both. Yeah. Once they're out, that's a person.
Oh my gosh, Lord.
And I just think I love your website. I just think it's funny to go on there because in your private Peanut Island snorkeling section, you have bathing suits not provided, and knowing you guys' personality, that just cracks me up.
Well, that is because I had a trip once with a bunch of people from Pakistan. Was it? Where was it?
I can't remember, but
somewhere where they wear the whole thing with the cloth around their face. I mean, all you see is some eyes poking out at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're very covered up.
And they all get on the boat and they got jewels on and they're done up. Of course, they came from somewhere well off. And we get to the island and I'm anchored up and I'm looking at them pulling out fins and masks. I'm kind of wondering where's your gear? And I'm like, hey, you guys can get in your suits, swimsuits. And they're like, all right, what? You don't provide costumes? I said costumes. No. So it was 10 minutes of us, arguing that I didn't do that. I said, well, there's no one around. You guys can just go in your birthday suit, whatever. They were totally not down with that one. So I had to put that on the website afterward, just to be clear. We don't provide
costumes.
It should say costumes. I gotta change.
If you did that, you'd get a lot more business too.
Well, we
oh
had
my
the
gosh.
nudist colony contacting us, wanting to do monthly trips, and I was at first, I was like, dude, we're gonna have a bunch of hot chicks on the boat naked, and she's like, just check out their site. And I went on there and I'm like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me! I couldn't do this to Peanut Island.
Oh, I gotta catch my breath.
They're all 70 years old.
Lord have mercy. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, you guys. You've definitely been it has been an uplifting moment here, because it was what we were discussing prior was rather humbling and wasn't the most happiest thing to speak about. It's part of life, sadly, but it's one of those areas where it wasn't the happiest time. But I got to tell you, the last 15 minutes or so has been one laugh after another, and that's usually what we get with you two, which I enjoy having you guys on. It really is. Really is an uplifting
I enjoy
time.
being on here.
I look forward to that.
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Well, good. I was just going to say, I saw your name on the roster, and I couldn't wait to chit-chat with you. And hopefully I'll get up there one time and hire you guys and fish with you guys and laugh looking for costumes. But my always being on and making us all laugh.
Oh, my gosh. Up there, where is up there, by the way, you guys? Where are you at?
We're at the Singer Island. It's top of West Palm Beach area. Blue Heron Boulevard is the exit off of 95.
Yeah, we go out of the, it's actually the Lake Worth Inlet, but they call it the Palm Beach Inlet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the inlet we go out of.
We pick some people up at their houses,
that's
too.
right by Selfish Marina, right?
Yeah, right over there. We pick people up at their houses too. We have quite a few clients that are on the island that we come and just come to their dock, and I'm like, dude, you guys have all this money. You need to like do something about your concrete docks. Like put some wood or rubber here for me. You know what I mean? Like you got a $25 million house, and I'm pulling my boat up, and I'm scared to death of their dock. You know what I mean?
That's low on their priorities right now. Oh,
yeah,
my
not
God.
on their priority.
What a ride. Well, thank you, guys. I appreciate it ever so much, and I wish you an awesome day. Let me give Carolyn an opportunity to say goodbye to you, and I'm looking forward to the next time that we have you on. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Yeah, you know what, Rascala, we'll have to get in touch with them, and I'll meet you. Meet you one day. We'll go out and do like a half-day fishing trip if we can.
That'd be awesome. Probably laugh more than catch
air.
anything,
Yeah, we'll wait till a nice cold winter day coming with some 10-foot swells, and we do some sail fishing.
There you go.
You'll see what the Grady White is all about.
You won't have to worry about chum in the water.
In your pants, but that's okay. Everyone does. They all get scared, and after an hour or two, they're like, "Wow, we're not gonna die." Really? This boat just rolls and rocks, and you're like, "Hold on."
Lord have mercy. All right, guys.
Let's not forget you have a real toilet on board too.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
That counts for a lot, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
All right,
Real
we'll be
deal.
looking forward to having you guys back on. Wish you an awesome day, you two. Thank you.
You guys have
Have
a
a
great
great
day
Sunday.
too.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
All right, don't go away. We're going to be right back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. Here we go.
You're listening to the Fishing in Florida show. We'll be right back.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Being a dad is an adventure full of special moments.
A cruise?
Right. Unexpected moments.
I got this.
And even awkward moments.
Okay, Dad, thank you.
But every moment you spend with your kids, even the smallest moments, can make the biggest impact on your child's life. So take a moment to be a dad today.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida. When the sun shines all day. It's caught me a grouper. So I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah. Fishing in Florida. Oh yeah. I'm fishing in Florida. Oh yeah.
All right, we are back. It is the Fishing in Florida show. It is an honor and a privilege to have you guys join. All right, you can stop now. That's what happens when you don't have good help. I don't know when to shut up. Shut up. It's time to get back to the show. And it is an honor and privilege to have you guys listen. This morning I have Carolyn. Carolyn's with Atlas Trax. And if you want to protect what you love to the max, as we talked about earlier today, Carolyn with Atlas Trax is who you got to talk to. Welcome back, Carolyn.
Thanks, Rascala.
And I think we have Sean Miller on with us this morning. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning. How's everyone doing today?
Hey, Sean, we're doing great.
All right. Good to hear you guys. I haven't talked to you guys in a while, so it's always good to hear y'all's voices.
So
yeah, and I've been seeing you've been having some great date nights with your daughter.
Oh my God! The more time, I learn something new every day. Every time I hear her smile, and she's so intelligent, so smart for her age. Of being 7 years old, I soak in every minute I can get with her.
Yeah, we had Joe Hector on earlier. He was taking his daughter for a walk, so every once in a while he would stop and see another little girl in the neighborhood. So yeah, absolutely. I know you've been doing a lot of boating, so tell us. You went down to Cabo. You've been doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we take the club on so many international trips. We try to switch it up. We hit Cabo for about 5 days, We chartered about three vessels, some 33-foot center consoles. We split up, did like a little mini tournament against each other. We picked up a yellowfin, we lost that one at the engines. That was a bummer. One of our boats got a striped marlin. The bite was really off, this time of year down there, and we were a little disappointing, but that didn't matter. We still came back to our little villa, had chefs making all of our dinners and enjoying time. The biggest thing with those kind of events, bringing that many people together, out of the country, it's about building camaraderie and friendships and building the bonds with our members. And we hit the nail on the head with this one, so it was pretty cool and fun.
That's awesome. So how long did the event last, this one that you were talking about?
The Cabo trip, most of these trips usually last about 5 days, Wednesday through a Sunday. And if it falls on like a holiday, then it's a 6-day trip. This one was, Wednesday through all the way through Sunday. And we literally, had, we always try to get like the biggest villa we can get in town, like 7 bedrooms or 13 bedrooms with 10 bathrooms. And then we always have chefs and bartenders. The goal is not to have anyone cook, just get in the pool, relax, and talk.
Wow.
And we got another one coming up. We're all heading to Guatemala, so we're probably going to rent out the entire resort, book every room, and the goal is to, when you walk out of your room, you don't have to wonder if you're a member. You are a member. If you're at that resort at that time, you get to meet each other.
So you've talked about club and member, but we haven't actually talked about the name of the club. So what are we talking about?
Oh, sorry about that.
No, that's right.
We're offshore anglers of Pompano Beach, based out of Pompano Beach. Hillsborough Inlet is usually where most of our teams and families and friends usually kind of hail from. We have our club meetings, the third Monday of every month over at Sands Harbor Resort Marina. We've been there for like 15 years. They've been pretty solid, even with the change in ownership. They still have it there. And just recently, we were talking about our tournaments. We do about 7 tournaments a year too there, and they just recently agreed to start hosting our tournaments there again, just to make sure we're bringing our friends and families and bringing some big fish to the scales, and I have some bands, so we're pretty excited about it. We also have our Colu's socials on the second Monday of the month over at Colu's Restaurant. We kind of take over the lounge, so that's coming up tomorrow night. I forgot about that.
So, who is trying to figure out how do I word this question? Who's eligible to be a member of this club?
If you like to fish, you're eligible.
Hot dog.
Oh yeah. If you don't fish, I don't really see the point in joining, because the whole point is to learn different ways to fish. I mean, once you stop learning, or you think you've known it all, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you never stop learning. So that to me, that's the main goal in this. I mean, we have grandparents, children, peewees, juniors. We have 334 members right now.
Wow.
265 vessels, 30 tournament teams, 29 female tournament anglers. We have our ladies pelagic tournament coming up, so all these girls are pretty excited to battle it out for the top 3 in our club. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Wow. So it's not limited to just guys per se, right? It's open to anybody who likes fishing.
No way. It's we love families, because on top of the tournaments in the club, we do like chili cook-offs, ceviche competitions, cornhole events. Like I said, it's to bring families together.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things, I think I was walking down the street the other day, and someone approached me, and they're like, Sean, the one thing about this club is that I've met so many people in our community that they can't even go to Publix without bumping into another club member. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome. And how old is this club?
Been around since 2003, so we're talking 17, 18 years,
Wow.
I think. Yeah.
So it has definitely become part of our community here after all of those years. I would consider it a foundation, a part of the foundation of our community here. I know from hearing from other people, they also do community work. They give back to the community. Am I mistaken?
No, that's correct. We usually we have a lot of our junior anglers and peewee anglers that come in and volunteer and stuff like that, and we give them their hours, if they want to put in time. We try to help out. We just recently had our the Broward Children's Center, which is right here behind the Brews Room, Pompano Beach. We had like a bowling event, and if I remember correctly, we were able to raise, I think, around $3,500 for them in like 3 hours.
Wow.
We're going over there to present them their check this week. So I'm pretty excited. With 501Cs have had a hard time, with this COVID thing, and I know it's going to help them out a lot. So I'm pretty excited to just be part of that.
That's awesome. So I hear the stories from other sources that you are a community asset. So in many ways, not just as providing a platform for people and to come together and build relationships, but also as giving back to the community. These are the kind of things that I like to promote because everybody wins in this kind of a situation. And when everybody wins, in a way that's kind of selfish because I'm part of everybody. So that's why I like to promote these kind of things. Though, everybody wins. When everybody wins, there's no losers in something like that. And that's what I see with the offshore anglers. And I appreciate what you guys do. I think also, if I'm not mistaken, you offer, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you make donations of fishing rods and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, usually most of our whoops, sorry, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Usually most of our stuff, like our rods, reels that we get, is from our biggest supporter, which is Big Dog Tackle. We let them know what event that we got going on, what we want to do, if we want to help, bring kids out fishing, and they're the first ones to step up and donate all the products we need. And without them, I don't know. I mean, they give us a lot of our stuff that we need in order to
I did
promote
not know this.
and help people up. Oh yeah,
I did
Trey
not
West
know
and
this.
them,
Carolyn?
and Nicole.
Did you know, Carolyn? Did you know that they do that?
Trey and Nicole, they work real close with Sean on so many events.
I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, I didn't know they was donating. I didn't know they were donating all this stuff. That's amazing. Because he never says a word. You see, this is an individual. It's a win-win situation. It's an individual who we've had on the show numerous times, and I don't think we've ever spoken about that, have we?
No, we've not.
Yeah. So he's not doing
Trey
it for
and Nicole
fame, Yep.
Yeah, Trey and Nicole are so humble, but they put so much back into our community.
Yeah. Again, just a testimony to the fishing community here, in my experience of it here in the area. Just awesome. Awesome to be a minuscule part of such a really an honorable and something that we don't see much of anymore. Something with integrity. It just doesn't seem to be popular these days, but it certainly is still very well and alive within the community, and I am ever so grateful that I can be whatever small part that is. Anything else coming up that you want to tell us about, Sean?
The next two things we have coming up, but we're doing a trip on the American Patriot out of Marco Island, and we're bringing about 25 of our anglers to Pulley Ridge. And that's going to be amazing. I mean, the American Patriot vessel is like a 120-foot vessel, and
I thought that was on this side of the state. Am I mistaken? Was that over on the East Coast for a while?
It was while they were getting situated, and then they're now based out of Marco Island, and they do Tortugas and Pulley Ridge trips now.
Wow. Tortugas. I've heard many stories about the Tortugas. Have you ever done one of those trips?
Not yet, and I'm excited. That's for sure.
Wow. And that goes on for like a week or so, right?
We leave Thursday at 8 p.m. and we come back around noon on Sunday.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 days.
Fishing. It's all. Everything's about it. Just fishing and fishing some more.
Yeah. Wow. If there was ever a time that was possible that you could OD on fishing, I think that would be it right there.
Right.
Because from what I understand, the whole time is fishing. That's all you're doing, is you're fishing the whole time. Can you imagine that? Go ahead, Carolyn.
I was going to say also, Sean, with your social tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow night at Coluth. Anyone can come in and just hang out and get some information. So it's open to the public if they want to meet up with you and talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point of the social. Because, the club meetings, which are on the third Monday of the month, it's a little bit more formal. You kind of got to sit down. You got to listen to our guest speaker, what they're, whatever they're talking about, depending on what kind of fishing they're talking about in general. And the social is more about everyone walking around and meeting each other and talking. You come up with your boats, and if you have your, Bjorn, Gunlofson and family, they're the Rockford Phosphate. They have their biggest sponsor, and they roll up with their boat, and they show off their sound system, and you get the chance to actually see other boats, the new items, the new electronics they put in, and then it helps them. And all sponsors will usually be there to shake hands with all of our members, and you get face-to-face, with our sponsors, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, we buy all the appetizers for everybody. We take over the entire lounge, and it's very informal. We have some beers and some drinks, and we just relax and hang out.
Sounds like a good time. Hot dog. So this is happening tomorrow?
Oh, yes, sir. We usually do it from 5 to 7. I would say for the past 6 years, it's been 5 to 10 or 11. It goes on for a while.
And it's happening.
Pretty funny.
Happening tomorrow, is that correct?
Oh, that is correct.
And happening where tomorrow?
Kalou's restaurant over there off of Commercial and the Intercoastal. Commercial and Intercoastal right there.
That's in Pompano, right?
Oh, yes. I think that's considered Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Over by Blue Moon Restaurant.
Excellent.
And I'll make sure I swing by tomorrow.
There you go.
Oh, perfect.
All right, Sean, thank you for sharing with us this morning. And thank you for last minute, literally last minute. I had sent a text to him earlier in the day, and he was out busy doing some stuff, didn't see the text, didn't respond till later in the evening. And I said, yeah, I got a spot at 9:25. And in his gracefulness, he decided to share that 9:25 with us. And I'm grateful that you did that, my friend, and I wish you an awesome day.
Oh, thank you, sir. Anytime I have the opportunity to talk to y'all, I enjoyed it. It makes my day. So thank you so much for having me.
God bless you,
All
my
right,
friend. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Stay in touch. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, ma'am. I'll see you tomorrow.
God bless. All right, I think we have the Florida Salty Cowgirl on. That's our next guest. She's our regular, who kind of our anchor, if you will, finishes up the show with us. Good morning, Miss Angelia. How are you?
Very good. How's everybody else doing this morning?
Great. Hey, girl.
Hi.
So
Yep, I'm a little tired this morning. I've spent so much time on the water this week.
I've seen pictures of the variety of things that you've been doing. You've been a busy young lady.
I absolutely have. I've been snorkeling. I've been scuba diving. I've been fishing. We've run as far as 30 miles offshore to the wall down here near Big. And yesterday we ventured out very early in the morning because I really believe in that morning bite or afternoon bite as far as trolling goes. So we ventured out before daylight yesterday morning, and the seas were 3 times as bad as they had predicted. It was a very rough morning. And one big fat tuna for our efforts. So no complaints. As long as I come back with fish, I'm always happy. But yes, we also ventured. We have something called Woods Wall that runs from Big Pine all the way down to Key West. And it's about 30 nautical miles offshore out into the Atlantic. But it has about 1,000-foot drop on that ledge. And that is some primo fishing. Wow. And ventured out there a couple days ago and picked up a few mahi and saved on my grocery because I haven't been buying much meat lately. And the diving down here has been phenomenal. And I have a neighbor, a lady neighbor, which is kind of fun for me, who's got a smaller boat. And she's an avid diver and loves to be in the water snorkeling. And earlier in the week, she asked if I wanted to go out and what did I want to do. And I said, let's leave the tanks behind and let's go hunt some lobster. And usually, this many weeks into the season, they've been really picked over and they're really hard to find. But we tried a new spot and we super scored.
Wow.
We had such a great time. She's a formidable lobstering partner. It's kind of fun to be out there, just us a couple girls too. And I have to tell you, the the husbands at home, the men at home, they did not think that we were going to come back with anything. They didn't think that we would see any lobster, let alone catch any lobster, let alone catch any lobster of size. So when we came back with our haul, we were very, very, very proud of ourselves.
As well you should be.
Yeah, a couple gals take off, kind of blindly and try out a new spot, and it ends up totally scoring. We probably caught, I don't know, close to 20 lobster. Plenty of them were undersized, so we're going to go back and get them later. But we did have a really nice little score, nice dinners for our family. So it's been really, really good. Today down here, it's windy. So I know down in Key West, they're having winds, so bad that most of your charter boats are canceling. And for the very first time in our little canal that's on the very end of the canal, and there's really nothing else on it, us and one other house, we've never even seen a ripple in the water down here in our little protected canal. This morning, it's windy enough to where you can see the water rippling, the trees are blowing, and after yesterday morning getting beat up a little bit out there, not a great day to be out on the water down here. But a beautiful day as far as temperature-wise goes. We've been burning up, and finally it's comfortable temps
it's
down
starting
here.
to cool down a little bit. Yeah, I see that. Well, Carolyn was saying this morning there's small craft, right, Carolyn? Small craft advisory in our area?
Yeah, in the Deerfield Beach area. Looking at my beach cams like I like to do. Looks like a little bit of whitecaps out there, but I think it's going to be gusting to about 20 knots here this afternoon, and probably will pick up, be a little sloppy there.
So it's not...
Yeah, we should be gusting to about 19 knots right now. And from our experience yesterday, it was only supposed to be about 12 knots, and they said it was about 1.2 foot seas. So and it was supposed to pick up in the afternoon, which is why we decided to head out first thing early yesterday morning. We get out there, and there's 3 and 4 footers all day long. I mean, it was not pretty. So if they say it's 1.2, just, keep an eye out, because it could be much, much worse out there.
I remember those days. As a younger person, it wasn't too bad. I mean, I was a little sore the next day, but I remember taking my dad out, and oh boy, he would be really beat up. We would. The next day for him was like really, really hard. And I can relate to that now that I'm up there in the years. I went out with a friend, and it wasn't too bad. It was a 2 to 4 day, and I only spent half the day out there. Oh my gosh! That evening, I could already start feeling it. I felt it in my legs. I felt it in my knees. And as a younger person, I never paid attention to any of that. But my goodness, I can tell I'm getting up there in the age. Oh my gosh! So yeah, you get beat up pretty good when you're in seas like that, huh?
Absolutely. And after a week of being on the water and a little bit of seas and doing a ton of swimming out there, I am good and tired today. So I'm not minding a wind day.
Well, you have a right to take a break. We'll allow you to take a break.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's been just gorgeous. It really has. The water will probably get a little bit stirred up here, and I'm kind of a cold front, because last year at this time of year, usually we don't get our winter fishing, until about November. But I remember last year we actually got some cold fronts that pushed down nice and far down here, and it brought our winter fishing really early. And then our winter fishing was just fantastic last fall. So it's cooling down a little bit, and I'm just really praying for that first cold front to kind of push itself down here and push those winter fish down.
Mm. I noticed it this morning when we walked out. It was instead of muggy and really high humidity, it was much lower humidity, and the air was actually cool. Oh, wow, yes, finally. I know I'll probably be complaining about the cold here the next month or so, but right now I'm loving it.
Well, we are not going to complain about any cold down here, and I have this beautiful little puppy that likes to wake me up at the crack of go outside, which is wonderful, but I go outside this morning, and like I said, the trees are blowing. The temperature was just glorious. It was just so much nicer than normal. It's not even really overcast. It's just really nice and breezy, and the temperature's great. So it may not be a perfect day out on the water, but it's a perfect day to be outside.
You mentioned something earlier, which I don't recall ever hearing about. Some wall. Say that again. Some kind of wall.
Yeah, if you've got a boat that's capable of doing it, there is a beautiful, beautiful ledge down here, and they call it Woods Wall. And it, like I said, it runs from like Big Pine all the way down to Key West, and it's out in the Atlantic. But it is literally about 30 nautical miles offshore, so it's a little bit of a hike. Even in our hydrosport, it will take us about an hour to get out there running full speed, and that's with decent seas, not anything too choppy. If it's choppy, it's just a hike out there. But we had taken a trip earlier in the year down to Cowgirl Key, and we were actually looking at homes at that point. But we had an ulterior motive. We brought the boat down and stayed there in Cowgirl, and we wanted to do some fishing as well as looking at homes. And we went out and explored that wall a little bit then. And it is some of the best fishing down here for your bigger fish. Everybody knows that any kind of structure on the bottom or any type of ledges or serious changes in depth will give you some really, really good fishing. So you get 30 nautical miles offshore into the Atlantic. You're very close to the Gulf Stream, first of all, so you get a lot of traveling fish. And then you get literally about 1,000-foot ledge. And that ledge holds a lot of fish. And we have yet to have any type of giant score out there, but that is a good place where we can just start picking. If we can find some birds and find some action. Now, we did have something really cool happen out there this week. We didn't have the greatest day of fishing. Sorry about that. We didn't have the greatest day of fishing, but we did have a couple mahi that we picked up, which was nice. But we're out there cruising the edge of this big, huge 1,000-foot ledge, and all of a sudden we see some dolphins. Not mahi, dolphins, porpoises. And I'm really used to seeing the porpoises in the backcountry up in the upper Keys, up in the Florida Everglades National Park and all up in there. And they're really small Atlantic dolphins. They're beautiful, but they're small and they're gorgeous. Well, we get out there on the ledge 30 miles offshore, and we're trolling, and all of a sudden there's a few dolphins that come to the boat, and they stay with the boat. But they're huge, and I mean they are huge. They are the biggest dolphins I have ever witnessed in my life. Wow. Well, I'm sitting up on the bow watching them because they're riding underneath the bow, which they love to do. I guess they really like that low pressure underneath the bow.
They swim upside down looking up at you. It's the weirdest thing in the world.
I had a up close and personal event because there was just a couple at first, and I ran up to the bow and sat on the bow looking over the edge watching them, and 2 of them turned into 6 of them. And then you could see them coming in from the sides, and everybody knows if there's porpoises around your boat, you're not going to catch any fish. That's right. But having these beautiful, National Geographic moments are the moments I live for. So I can live without catching fish for a little while to have this experience. But you start seeing these dolphins coming in from all sides, and they are so big that when their dorsal fins cut the surface, you almost think they're sharks because they're that big. These are the biggest dolphins I've ever seen. Well, next thing you know, there must be at least 24 of them surrounding the boat. They're playing in the wake behind the boat, which our lines are back there, which I thought was really insane. We had probably 6 lines out trolling. They're all around the boat. They're underneath the bow of the boat. They're dancing in front of the boat. And they stayed with us for like 30 minutes. I mean, it wasn't just a hit and run episode. I mean, they stayed with the boat, just surrounding the boat for about 30 minutes. And like I said, these are the biggest dolphins. I've seen a lot of dolphins down here, guys. And I never, ever tire of it. But these guys were huge. And like you said, Rascala, here I've got them doing barrel rolls and stuff right underneath the bow of the boat that I'm hanging over the front watching them. And they're jumping everywhere. I don't know where to look next type of thing. And I've got one that's just kind of cruising right underneath the port bow. And he keeps turning sideways. And I swear to you, he's looking up at me and looking me straight in the face. And it just was the most amazing thing. I couldn't believe this guy just is hanging out and he's watching me. I'm watching him. He's watching me.
That's
How much more special can you get?
That's
really
awesome.
just a one-on-one personal experience with these things.
We ran into a pod of them one day. There was maybe a dozen or so of them. And they weren't really big like you're describing, but they were, they're happy-go-luckies. And as we were cruising along, probably at least 20 knots, I asked my brother to take the wheel, and I walked up to the bow of the boat, and I look over, and I'm holding onto the rope, kind of leaning backwards to get my balance. And I look over, and here's this one of them swimming upside down, looking at me. And they always have this appearance like they're smiling, but I swear he was smiling. He or she was smiling, looking up and looking up at, swimming upside down, keeping up with the boat, and looking up at us, watching us. It was amazing. It was totally, yes. And you can kiss the fishing goodbye. All the fish take off. There's nothing around when they show up. They're gone.
But just it's the most personal, amazing experience when you get that with these animals, and when, like you said, when they're looking right at you, and it feels like they're making some type of communication with you. They're watching you just as much as you're watching them, and I've never had them stay with the boat for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a very long time. But
my experience was maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. They really like you guys. They really like you.
After that, one of the other things I absolutely love about this woods wall is, since you're 30 miles offshore and you're down here in the lower Keys, you could go for 6 hours and never see another boat. It is just amazing. So you're out there with no land in sight, no other boats anywhere in sight, and 25 dolphins surrounding the boat for a half an hour. And like I said, I've got a lot of experience with these dolphins on Bayside and in the Upper Keys. These dolphins were 5-6 times the size of the little dolphins that are on Bayside. So I'm not even really what species or what kind of dolphins these were, but they were huge. And then of course one comes by and it's got a little baby with it, and its little baby is about the size of the regular dolphins on Bayside up in the Upper Keys. Wow. So as the mother and the baby are jumping in tandem beside the boat, I mean, it just doesn't get any more special than that. So to come home with 2 mahi and that experience out there, not bad at all. But speaking of the seas, and the seas that will beat you up, when we first came down to Cujo, when we fished that woods wall for the first time, we had a decent day and we're picking up the mahi, but the winds picked up seriously. And when you've got a 30 nautical mile haul back in against rough seas, that is a long haul, you guys. That's your hour trip into almost a 2-hour trip, and you're fighting the waves and you're getting the snot beat out of you, and it makes for a really rough trip. So don't venture out to the wall unless you've got really good seas, guys, because it is a heck of a ride. Without the seas, it's a heck of a ride. With the seas, it makes it for a really rough ride. But yeah, fishing's still good down here in the Upper Keys. They are absolutely picking up the mahi still and bringing in some big ones. Blackfin tuna, like I say, they bite year-round. Caught a really nice fatty that's going to be dinner tonight. And
you lucky girl.
Down in Key West, I know for a fact, Jack, that all of your charter boats down in Key West are canceled today for winds. So.
All right, we are rapidly running out of time. And before you go, Miss Angelia, people want to reach you, they do what?
Website is FloridaSaltyCowgirl.com. You can find me on any of the social media outlets at Florida Salty Cowgirl. And I'd love to take you out fishing, so just get in touch with me.
God bless you, my dear. Wish you an awesome weekend. And Carolyn is with Atlas Trax. You can find Atlas Trax online, atlastrax.com. Thank you, Carolyn. I greatly appreciate your time this morning. God bless you, my dear. And I wish you an awesome day.
Yeah, tight lines to everybody, and see you next week.
So long, everybody.
Grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until